5 lovers of capitalism that I've grouped into 5 groups. That's according to what they told me since 1980, through the last year of high school, through university, and then on the street, mostly on the street, and also, through the internet. Okay, and here are the 5 groups that I've grouped. Okay, so now there's the group 1, the freedom. Okay, for freedom, which I agree. I said good because I agree with that. This is the freedom to sell and buy whatever we have. Okay, so to to trade for reasons. And this is very sensitive for me because, for example, I had lots of money in the bank, but I couldn't buy feminizing hormones or women's natural estrogen, or very good anti-androgen, from the pharmacy, because the government was forcing me to go see a psychiatrist, which most of them, are gatekeepers, and they tend to block off boys who want to feminize their body that they do not like, which is like, as I noticed through my observation, is white boys with dark brown hair. Okay, but they prefer exotic boys or boys with blonde hair to have the feminizing hormones because they find them prettier. Okay, so that kind of sucks. The second one is the right of happiness, which, like most women, this is why I would say 100% of women likes capitalism, because they like shopping. Okay, this is the right of happiness, the right to buy expensive jewelry, expensive clothing, expensive dresses, furniture, expensive chariots, carts, or with horses, or cars today. And these two are the premise of what Adam Smith was talking about. Okay, I haven't read the book Adam Smith, but I know, according to what I've heard through the internet, or what I heard, what I've read in Karl Marx, what I've read in other books about what Adam Smith said, which I think I came up to that conclusion because the people who are pushing for capitalism since the 1300 up to 2024, it's because of the right for everybody, include the right of serfs and peasants to be free of whatever they want to do, and also to acquire luxuries like wealth. Okay, because during the old French regime, or the time of the feudalism, they weren't allowed to have that. Okay, because the nobles it was against the law. Otherwise, the nobles take their wealth from them, especially the serfs. Okay, even the peasants. Okay, serfs and peasants didn't have the freedom. Okay, so this is why proponents proselyte for capitalism, such as Adam Smith and John Locke and others, were pushing is everybody to have freedom and have happiness, have wealth, so happiness. Okay. From France, ex-friends, because they're not very nice. I get the those are the 3 detrimental reasons for pushing capitalism. You have the reinstating of nobility, which eventually some sort of nobility, but it's not sure if they'll reinstate complete nobility with the privilege, the right for nobles to murder or or I would say rape the women of serfs and peasants, and or to reinstate the privilege, the nobility privilege. It says they're the only ones who could own land. They have the right to carry weapons. They have the right to use it. They have the right to know how to use the weapons. They have the right to know how to read and write, and they have the right to learn science, okay, and mathematics, okay, which the serfs, the nobles, the serfs and the peasants don't have that right at all, okay. And then you have the fourth one, which is like getting rid of the short, ugly ones, okay, short, ugly ones, because they don't like them, okay. There's a lot of people who don't like short, ugly ones, okay, the wimps, and they want capitalists, they have no social net, no collective Medicare, because the capitalist Medicare will pump up their fare to buy Medicare, okay, and the people who owns these insurance Medicare, insurance Medicare is because they want to make money. They want to buy a yacht with 25 nubile women on it, okay, so there's a big difference, coming like the collective Medicare for everybody, which is like between half the price to about 1/3 of the price, and you get a much better deal, okay. You don't have like small little the tiny little writings that says, well, okay, you don't get Medicare if you get squashed by a truck during the weekend, for example. And for this one here, okay, for because of the Medicare, or actually the fifth one too, and also merchants and businessmen are not necessarily pushers for capitalism. It's just like it's their trade, okay. They're not really proselyte about it, because they'll know they'll sell, if it's against the law. Example, nobility, they're like non-nobles, they will eventually get around to sell their wares, to do business, okay, except it's like a little bit dangerous, okay. But businessmen, a good merchant and a good businessman know what's a good deal, okay. So they're not going to spend their money on some guy, some banker or whatever, or like insurance company that's gonna have you pay 100% for them to get rich, and for them to buy a yacht with 25 nubile women on it, okay. So they want a much better deal. They want more for their money, so they'll go for a collective Medicare, and also life insurance, which is like social safety net, just in case their house burned down, something happens, they lose their job, okay. But for the getting rid of the short ugly guys, okay, is because these people will not be able to sell. They will not be able to get a job, because they're short, ugly guys. They're short, they're ugly. They won't sell. They can't sell. People will look at them, well, you're not intelligent because you're ugly, okay. You're short, you can't do a lot of things. There's certain things you can't do. You don't look good, and you're not going to sell a lot of merchandise if you're short or ugly, and because you don't look good, okay. So basically, these pushers, these proselytes for capitalism, want to get rid of at least 10% of the population up to maybe even to 30% of the population, okay? Because they're sadists, okay? Now you have the fifth one, which these guys are psychopaths. They're insane, okay? They even want to kill themselves, okay? The thrill of dying, okay? These guys want to turn the whole human society or the whole planet into a new law of the jungle of Gondwana, okay, at the time of the dinosaurs, okay, where every time you get out of bed, you have the chance of getting killed by a cave bear, or when you get out of the cave, you have the chance of getting killed by a saber-toothed tiger, wolves, getting squashed by a brontosaurus, or get chewed on by a giant tyrannosaurus. Okay, I can't say it in English. I can't pronounce it in English. Tyrannosaurus rex. Okay, or other, and also they can't build up a ship, go on the sea, because well, I mean, if they go and fish on the sea, they'll get there's a chance, the probability they'll get eaten by a sea monster. Okay, so these guys, you know, they're bored. They want like action. They want like the thrill that they could get killed. Okay, dying. Okay, so they want and they say, well, this is, and also by going out, the chances are that they might get killed by warriors of another tribe. Okay, human warriors of another tribe, or hominid warriors of another tribe. Okay, so these are the most dangerous. Basically, what they want to do, this is the most dangerous one. Okay, well, they're all dangerous. These three are very dangerous. This one is not too dangerous, but the thing is that they're killing us like slowly. You know, like nobility. They could decapitate us with their sword on a whim, and they have the right to have sex with our mothers, our wives, and our daughters. Okay, if we're serfs or peasants. Okay, and now. And the short, ugly guys, if you get too old, become ugly, then, you know, since there's no wolves, there's no polar bears that will eat us up, that will kill us like very quickly, well, eventually we're gonna die slowly and get eaten slowly by the baby flies. Okay, so now for this one, basically these lovers of capitalism, these pushers, proselyte of capitalism for the thrill of dying, is that they want to change the whole planet into a giant Roman gladiator ring. Okay, and this is the probability. Anybody could, you know, a big guy, big muscles, tall, thin, very muscular guy could get killed in one day. You know, and even one of his best day. For example, these two big guys, tall guys, they're fighting on their best day, so they're fighting for about like half an hour. They're fighting. Then you have this little guy right here. Okay, he's a tiny little guy, you know, with a little dagger, and then eventually this one kills this one, and then this little guy right behind this one, who's the winner, he sees what's happened, then he stabs this one, and then the two handsome, tall, thin, muscular guys are dead, and then you have this little guy, and then eventually this little guy gets the girl or the women. There you go. Okay, so I mean, the probability of getting killed when you're in a battle. Okay, of course, like, and today, I mean, these guys are fighting with sword, and this little guy is like fighting with a knife. You know, he could be way over there with a bow, and especially today, like we have like long range rifles, and you know, so you don't need to be very big win the war or win the battle against a big, huge Hulk. Okay, well, if it's really the Hulk from Marvel, you might have any problems. But if it's a big, huge ogre, you just need a rifle to get him between the eyes. So there's no point. So basically, what happens is that anybody could die. Okay, and this is what the thrill of dying. This is what the psychopath, the insane capitalism are pushing for. Okay, the thrill of dying, and also for the nobility, reinstating the nobility. Okay, so I might as well use it here. Reinstating the nobility. Okay, now you have the world. Okay, this is the United States, Quebec, Mexico. Okay, and then you have England. Okay, you have the Scandinavians. You have Europe. Okay, and here's Africa. Okay. Okay, you have India, and then you have Australia. Okay, so now capitalism, the big now you have like the trillionaires. Okay, so the trillionaire, just imagine. Okay, Bill Gates already bought all this. Okay, so this is Bill Gates territory. This is the father Rockefeller. And then you have some rich French Canadian here called the Power Corporation. And then here you have like, who's a rich Anglo-Saxon? Conrad Black bought this. And then you have some rich cocaine baron that bought this. And then you have one rich guy that bought this, and oops. Okay. Yeah, and this is Tasmania. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein bought Tasmania, and then Bill Gates bought half of this. And here are the Rothschilds. The Rothschild bought France, Spain, Germany, and then here you have the King of England. Okay, and here I don't know, like you have Genghis Khan. A descendant of Genghis Khan bought this, and then you have Idi Amin who bought this. Okay, I think you get the So, this is the big trillionaire, the billionaires and the trillionaire. Actually, I would say the trillionaire. So they all bought this, and they all set up. So everybody that lives on these land has to pay rent, and all their ancestors, all their sons, their grandsons, the small grandsons, granddaughters, okay, have to pay rent to the trillionaires and their sons and their little sons and their little sons. So this is how nobility works. Now there's a difference between class. Class is only for riches, okay? Only how rich you are. But you could lose. Like I had $20,000 in the bank, and then I've done some, I tried to have a store, I lost everything, so I went down. Okay, you could have somebody who's a millionaire, a billionaire, or a trillionaire, and then lose all of it. But lose all of it in 1 year, and then the next year he gains half of it, and then 5 years, and then lose it again, and then 5 years again. 5 years after, he gains like the triple. Okay, so class just means how much money you have in the bank. A caste is different. Okay, a caste system, there's a biological component component to it, or the genetic or inheritance, and also family. Okay, and if you're in the wrong family, you have, when they set up a caste system, you're not allowed, you don't have privileges. Okay, if you're a non-noble, okay, you can't know how, you don't, you're not allowed. And then they set up like interdiction or rules are against the law, rules that are against what your freedom. For example, you cannot know how to use a sword. You cannot know how to use an albert or javelin or a spear or a bow unless they cut off your hands. You're not allowed to know how to read, write, or to know math, to learn science, to know science, and you cannot own land at all. Okay, so the caste system, because they say you're inferior. Okay, so those are the two things. Okay, so when they're reinstating the nobles, eventually maybe they'll set up a caste system, but we're not sure. Okay, so I'm saying, but that's a probability. So next time